Topic of this video is to make sure we have no fear about solving an equation. Solving equations is one of those basic things you've got to be able to do in algebra, and that's why we're reviewing it before we get started on the more advanced work this semester. The problem on the board is the same as problem 14 on page 30 in your textbook. Now the answer to this problem is W equals 23. If you think you know how to do it, I want you to pause the video and go ahead and work it. If you get the answer W equals 23, move on to the next thing you've got to do tonight. But if not, then go ahead and continue the video and we'll walk through how we do it. Now, on the board we've got an equation, and so what an equation means is that the expression, the stuff on this side, is the same as the stuff on that side. Okay, that's the key to being able to solve something. You've got to have two things that are equal to be able to figure out what the missing value is. So what we've got to do is use our knowledge of numbers and math to be able to take this equation and get it down to where we know that W equals some number. So let's take a look at the steps that we need to follow to do that. We know we want to end up with the W by itself on one side and a number on the other. That's going to tell us what value that variable W has. So let's start by just moving things around and seeing if we can get that W by itself. So you see on this side of the equation we've got a 7W plus 2. Let's go ahead and get rid of the plus 2 first. We can deal with the 7 first, but it's usually easiest to go ahead and get rid of the things that are furthest away from the W, from the variable first. In this case the variable is W. So if I've got a plus 2 and I need to get rid of it from one side of an equation, I can just subtract 2. Whoops, not add, subtract. And if I subtract 2 from one side, then I know I've got to subtract 2 from the other. Because remember, this equal sign means the same as. So if I'm taking 2 away from one side of the equation, I've got to take 2 away from the other side of the equation. All right, now let's simplify what we have. I have a plus 2 and a minus 2. That, of course, is 0. And 0 doesn't add anything, so I don't have to write it. And I just bring down my 7W. And then on this side, I've got 3W plus 94 minus 2. Well, 94 minus 2 is 3W plus 92. So I've got the W by itself over here. And I want to end up with just numbers on this side, so I need to get rid of the 3W. Well, just like I did with the 2, if I've got a positive 3W on one side, I can get rid of it by subtracting 3W. And if I do it on one side, I got to make sure I do it on the other. Let's simplify what we have now. If I have 7 W's and I take away 3 W's, I'm left with 4 W's. 3 W's minus 3 W's is no W's. That's what I wanted to happen over there, so I'm on the right track. And then I bring down the 92. Now, remember back to when you learned how to read algebraic terms and expressions. What this means is 4 times W. When you have a number and a variable together, that number, the math word for that number, the vocabulary word for that number is coefficient. That means we're multiplying that coefficient by the variable. So if we're multiplying 4 times W and we want to make it just W, then we've got to do the opposite of multiplying it by 4, and that is dividing it by 4. So let's divide by 4 on that side. Remember the equal sign, so we've got to do that on the other side as well. So when we do these divisions now, Four divided by 4 is 1, and we're left with W. 92 divided by 4, you can do this with mental math, that's great. If not, go ahead and get your calculator out. 92 divided by 4 is 2, and let's see, 23. So my answer, like I told you before, is W equals 23. Now the cool thing about algebra is you can always check your answer. You can take what you think the value of W is, put it back in the original problem, and see if it works out. So let's do that. I think W is equal to 23, so I'm going to substitute or plug in. I like the math word substitute better. I'm going to plug in 23 for W. I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm just going to make sure that these two end up being the same thing. So 7 times 23, if you can do mental math, great. If not, get your calculator. 7 times 23 is 1, carry 2, that's 161, plus 2 on this side. 3 times 23 is 69, plus 94. Let's add these two up. 161 plus 2 is 163. 69 and 94, 9 and 4 is 13, we're going to carry 1, 9 and 1 is 10, and another 6 is 6. So we have 163 equals 163, so W equals 23 must have been the answer. So being able to work these kinds of equations, solve these kinds of equations, is a fundamental skill you learned in previous algebra courses, but it's one you're going to continue to have to use. You're going to have to be able to use those steps, and if you didn't get that, go back and rewind the video, try a few other problems in your textbook, and if you still can't get it, then make sure you get some help when you come to class tomorrow. That's solving an equation, and remember, have no fear.